Today I'm giving you guys the top 5 guns to be using in Black Ops 6 multiplayer right now. And I'm actually in the middle of Prestige 3 already in this game, and I basically have every single gun diamond. So I've used a little bit of everything in this game, so I kind of know what's good and kind of what's bad. And these are going to be class setups that you guys can use in core and in hardcore. They work in both. And I do have to do this in private match because I'm not a high enough level to actually have all the guns unlocked to show you guys the attachments. But before we get into any of the class setups, the first thing we're going to go through is the perks. Now they added something a little bit new in this game. It's called the combat specialty. And if you have 3 of the same color perk in every single slot, you can get a bonus buff. As you can see on the right of the screen, if you have all red, you can get the killing enemies grants temporary buff to movement speed and health regenerate, which is really good. But like if you're in hardcore on a small map, you can go ahead and put on all the blue perks and you guys can get recon. And recon basically gives you wall hacks. Like right when you spawn in, or if you die and you respawn, you can literally see people through walls. It's kind of ridiculous. So for hardcore perks, I would definitely go with Ninja, Forward Intel, and Vigilance. Ninja literally makes your footsteps silent, and it's kind of crucial in hardcore just because everyone's pre-aiming, trying to figure out where people are because they don't have a mini map. So Ninja's really good. And then I use Forward Intel because when I call in a UAV or somebody shoots on the map and I can see them and they're not using a suppressor, it shows up as an advanced UAV mark on the map. And for the third perk, it doesn't really matter. You can go with Cold-Blooded or Vigilance. And I go with Vigilance just because you get immune to counter UAV and scramblers, which is kind of nice. And then for the wild card, every single class I run perk Greed. And then I either throw on Dexterity or Double Time. Dexterity is really, really good, especially when you're using like snipers and trying to get headshots and stuff like that, because your gun's not swaying everywhere when you're jump shotting or drop shotting. But obviously Double Time makes you quicker, so you kind of got to choose which one you want. But getting into my number 5 pick for the top 5 classes you should be using, I chose the Compact 92. Now this gun really reminds me of the Kuda from Black Ops 3 and the Spitfire from Black Ops 4. The reason I say that is because the iron sights are identical to the Kuda, but it has the fire rate of the Spitfire. It is so fun to use, and it does have a lot of recoil, so I go ahead and throw on the compensator for the first attachment. For the second attachment, I go with the long barrel. This helps out with that damage range. For the third attachment, you need to have an extended mag on this, so 1 is my favorite just because it doesn't really hinder your reload speed as much as the 2 or the 3, and you still get 40 bullets, which is really nice. So you guys could run the 50 round mag if you want to. I went ahead and went with the 40. For the next attachment, we're gonna go with the rear grip, the CQB grip. Now it's kind of weird. They have 2 rear grips. They're basically identical. That's the ergonomic grip and the CQB grip, except for the ergonomic grip, you get a little bit more ADS speed, as you guys can see on screen, and the CQB grip, you get a little bit more sprint to fire time. It kind of just, you gotta choose what you want. I thought the sprint to fire would be perfect for this, especially because I've been playing a lot of hardcore, and getting your first shot off is really crucial because it's a one-shot kill anywhere pretty much. And for the 5th and final attachment, I go with the balance stock. This is going to help out with all your speed, movement speed, ADS speed, all that stuff, and that's going to be my Compact 92 SMG. Getting into my number 4 pick, we're going to go with the PP 919 Bison. Now there's going to be a lot of SMGs on this list just because the SMGs in this game are so much better than the assault rifles. And getting into the attachments for it, we're going to go with the suppressor on this one. This gun already has no recoil, so there's no reason to put on a compensator or a muzzle brake. So we're gonna put on that suppressor to keep us off the minimap, and also our gunshots will be a lot quieter. For the next attachment, go with the long barrel. This obviously just helps out with your damage range. This is gonna be really good in core and in hardcore. You're gonna get better one-shot distance in hardcore, and in core you can map people a little bit easier. For the next attachment, I go with the Fast Mag 1. Now the reason I do this is because it gives you ADS speed, aim down sight speed, and I know it says it has minus reload quickness, but that is just not true because this does have 15 less bullets than the regular mag. So you do reload quicker and you aim down sight faster, which is just great. For the next attachment, I go with the CQB grip. This is absolutely one of the best attachments in the game right now. You got dive to fire speed, sprint to fire speed, and slide to fire speed. This will make your movement crazy. And then to stack on even more movement speed, I go with the no stock attachment. This is my PP 919 Bison class. Now this list just wouldn't be right if I didn't add the XM4 on here because this AR is crazy. It is so good in hardcore, and in core it absolutely just shreds. Getting into the attachments though, I go with the Kepler Microflex. This is basically just the OG red dot sight, and this actually might be my favorite reticle in the game for every single gun. And if you're just not a fan of that, the Merlin Reflex is also really good. Now my goal with this class setup was to absolutely have 0 recoils for core players and hardcore players, and then also sprinkle in a little bit of ADS speed. So we're gonna go ahead and put on the compensator. This completely eliminates your vertical recoil. For the next attachment, you can either go with the damage range barrel or the gain twist barrel. This just adds on a lot more bullet velocity, but I thought that having damage range on it was kind of nice, especially because if you have really good shots, you can map people with this gun. For the 4th attachment, go with the extended mag. This just gives you more bullets, obviously. And for the 5th attachment, something that I kind of like in the game is these fire mods. If you're having a hard time controlling recoil, definitely put on the recoil springs. But if not, and you can actually control it a lot more, put on the rapid fire. This gun is so insane with this rapid fire mod. But for the sake of the video, I think the recoil springs are a lot better, so that's what we're gonna go with. And that is my XM4 class setup. Now getting to number 2 on my list, we're gonna go with the Model L. This gun is just a slower fire fire rate, this is just a slower fire rate, higher damage XM4, and it is really fun to use. The only thing about it is it does have a little bit of kick to it, but if you guys can control that kick, this gun is elite. But for the first attachment, go with the Kepler Microflex. For the second attachment, go with the Compensator. This helps out with that vertical recoil as we were just talking about. For the third attachment, go with the Long Barrel. This helps out with that damage range. For the fourth attachment, go with the Precision Foregrip. And another option you guys could go with is the Ranger Foregrip. This helps out with sprinting movement speed and horizontal recoil. And the Precision Foregrip gives you aiming, idle, sway stability, which I thought was kind of crucial in this game, so that's why I threw on the Precision Foregrip. And then last but not least, go with the Recoil Springs. Now, before we get into number one, my honorable mention is the KSV. I really wanted to put this gun on the list because it is so fun to use, and it does have a pretty high time to kill. And for the attachments, I go with the Suppressor on this because it doesn't have any recoil. It shoots kind of fast, but not too fast, so there's not a lot of recoil on it. For the second attachment, go with the Long Barrel. This helps out with that damage range. It helps out in core and in hardcore. For the third attachment, go with the Ranger Foregrip. You want movement speed on SMGs because they are supposed to be fast. That's why I go with the Ranger Foregrip, because it gives me sprinting movement speed. Obviously, go with the Extended Mag 1 so you can kill more enemies with one magazine. And then for the final attachment, go with the Nose Stock attachment. And getting into the best class in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is going to be the C9. It doesn't matter if you're in core or in hardcore, this gun thrives. I mean, it's basically an assault rifle in an SMG form. It is ridiculous right now. And on top of that, in hardcore, you can map people with one bullet at pretty much any range. But for my attachments, I go with the Compensator for that vertical recoil control, the Long Barrel for damage range, the Extended Mag for more bullets, the CQB grip so I can hit some movement on people, and the Nose Stock attachments for that movement speed. And this is the number one C9 loadout that you need to be using in Black Ops 6. Just to go over everything one more time, if you're in core, I would use these perks and this perk greed. And if you're in hardcore, I would use these perks with this perk greed. And then lethal and tactical and field upgrade, that's all personal preference. You guys can use whatever you want. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been Mason. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.